just reach down.
Reach down.
It's really bad here.
And you just grab a bunch of it and see it's all dripping.
For the past 3 years, a force of volunteers has been working to restore the reef at Maunalua Bay by removing one of the biggest threats to our coral reefs, invasive algae.
Look at that. That's just one grab. Look at all that. Isn't that something? That's what's holding all the sediment in the bay. We get rid of this, and it gets restored. When you're walking here right now, it's so squishy you almost fall over because all the sediment is held together with this monster here. This looks like something, a creature of the Black Lagoon here. And when we get rid of all of this, the bay can breathe again. I mean, that's really what's happening. The bay can breathe again, and when it breathes, then it's gonna come back.
Congressman Neil Abercrombie says $6.1 million in federal economic recovery funding will help to restore Maunalua Bay on Oahu and Pelikane Bay on the Kona side of Hawaii Island. The Kohala Center for the Pelikane Bay Watershed Restoration Project is receiving $2.7 million. That project will help to restore just about 1,500 acres of coastal and marine habitat by reducing sediment and runoff on coral reefs. This will be done through erosion control and replanting native vegetation. The funding from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, will boost the effort at Maunalua. It's spearheaded by the Nature Conservancy in Hawaii, part of an organization involved in conservation around the world, and Malama Maunalua, a community-based group working to restore the environment of the Maunalua region from the Ko'olau Mountains to the reefs of the bay.
I'm so excited about this program because I would so much like to see the bay revived to what it once was. And I realized that at my time it had already digressed. But between the time I was born and today, it's a huge, huge drop. And I can't think of anything more exciting than to see the bay have a chance to revitalize for all the people.
We do try to preserve some of the life though that's in it.
So when you see these little guys, these little sea urchins,
Yeah.
from that.
pull those out.
Okay. Oh, here's a crab. Look,
The Maunalua Bay Reef Restoration Project will receive about half the local funding, which amounts to $3.4 million to remove the algae called mudweed. The project will create more than 70 new jobs, most of them full-time.
I'm looking for sea urchins. There's one.
Up to 60 positions for algae removal work will be created for 14 months, and others for monitoring the impact of the project. The funds also enable the Conservancy and Malama Maunalua to help manage the project.
So what we identified were three main threat areas, one being invasive species, which this project is focused on, one being what we're calling unsustainable fishing or harvesting practices, and the third is what Karen alluded to, and that's land-based pollution, water quality issues with large amounts of sediment being delivered to our nearshore waters along with associated pollutants from urban areas. So those are three key areas that we're operating in, and we've identified strategic actions in each of those areas to to identify ways of bringing the bay back to maybe not what it once formerly was, 100 years ago, but maybe 40, 30, 50 years ago.
What's happened now is the water which used to naturally seep in to the aquifer and naturally come down to the ocean has been channeled by a lot of the concrete channels that are there, and just throws all the sediment out into the ocean. So the sediment came in, invasive species of algae have come into that sediment. It's choking all the natural growth that's here, choking all the possibility of the fish being here, and actually killing off the bay. And so we're going to reverse that.
The two Hawaii projects are important parts of the Obama administration's vision to leverage economic recovery dollars to restore coastal and marine habitats across the nation. At the same time, the funding will generate and protect jobs nationwide for thousands of people whose work sustains the environment and helps to improve the economy through projects like this one.
So this is the target that we're going to go for today. This is Havrenville amadelpha, or leather mudweed.
Wow.
As you can see, it's hold fast, sticks to the ground, so it needs manual pulling. And it also traps a lot of sediment, which kind of exacerbates the problem because each time it's windy it resuspends and then settles, resuspends again. makes it really cloudy. And other epiphytes grow on it, like this prickly seaweed, Acanthophorus spicifera, which was introduced from Guam in 1951 through a transport military vessel. And this gorilla ogo was an escapee from an aquacultural experiment from Kaneohe, also grows on top of this stuff. So as you can see, it's a very low-tech effort that we're gonna do. It involves bending down, pulling this shag carpet off the reef, and in effect, by doing that, you're daylighting the substrate, the old coral rock and sandy bottom, to the daylight again. And once you've cleared that area, the aim is to have the native species move back in.
Snapping shrimp, the little thing in here is about an inch long.
What about right there?
That's going out too, but here's the shrimp.
Oh yeah. Poor little guy. And this is somebody.
Here's somebody.
Did you get squirted by them yet? The little sea cucumber?
Sea urchin, yeah.
The sea
You got
cucumber.
squirted, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they kind of squirt you.
In the past year and a half, I think Kimo has been leading this group, and it's over 60 tons now that they've pulled, and you can actually see it from the air. This cleared area, this is just a quarter acre, but they've connected to a seagrass area now, and as part of this project there'll be quarterly flyovers taking photos showing the progression from invasives to daylighted reef bottom again. It also involves the wider community in terms of farmers. They're helping us experiment with this in terms of composting. Auntie Laura takes some in her backyard, and Glen Ni'i in Kamilanui and Kalihi Nature Center also takes it. So it's found throughout the bay, about 270 acres of it, but not all thick. The thickest is 54 acres, and this project will clear about half of that.
If you clear it, does it stay clear, do you think?
Yes, some cleared plots here have stayed clear for over 2 years now, and so that's really encouraging, and it's what's encouraged us to really scale this up.
25.
Abercrombie says the results of this project could become a model for future ones that could successfully restore other marine ecosystems and open the way for activities like fish farming.
It's encouraging in the fact that we can still find native limu in the area. It's being choked, of course, but it's still here. So it gives us a lot of optimism, inspiration when we want to
So
go.
if this gets cleared, will this come back?
Yes, we are hoping that that definitely will be the case. Once we clear and we can daylight the area, and a lot of these natives are actually, I think, will grow faster once they have a chance to come back in versus the invasives.
This is an ongoing opportunity to help restore this bay, and in the process set up a template for what we want to do all across the state. We need to be able to have the kind of bay here with the resources that it had at one time, where we're actually going to come back, if everything works right, to actually farming fish. And there's no reason why that can't happen again. Every bit of food that we can grow here in the islands is food we don't have to import and pay for to somebody else elsewhere. It keeps the jobs and the money in, and the good results here in the island.
Community volunteers have removed tons of invasive algae from Maunalua Bay. Cleared areas have remained free of algae, and scientists are finding growing evidence of the return of native species. This has stirred optimism for the future and better days ahead for the bay.
Strategically, this is a critical first step, and it's been a great way to invite other partners in, like the Army Corps, like NOAA. And it's really started with this core community that's really been the core, the backbone of this whole thing. And I'm personally very proud that this project was one of the 50 selected.
And what this is doing with the federal dollars we have coming here, combined with the volunteer efforts and the local efforts here, we are going to clear this bay. We're going to bring the fish back. We're going to bring back the seagrasses that allow the fish to live and restore this to the way it should be. So it's practical, it's bringing jobs to the state, and it's restoring Hawaii the way it should be.